Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I have a special video because I just yesterday got first place at the Pittsburgh Regional. Went 8-0. It was a 245 person regional. Yeah, I got first place and I did it with Chimera branded. Super excited about that. So I want to go through my matchups, go through my deck profile, get some shout outs really quick, and yeah, pretty much just talk about how the day went. So yeah, first of all, I'll just get through the shout-outs really quick. Shout out to my buddy Nick, who was vending on the floor, hyping me up throughout the whole thing. And then shout out to all the locals guys at Top Deck Cards and Games for hyping me up throughout the day as well. Really appreciate you guys supporting me through that. So yeah, let's go ahead and I'll go through the deck first, and then I'll go through the matchups and talk about it a little bit. So I played Chimera branded, as you already know, and it's a pretty standard build. When I say standard, it's just like Chimera branded with 3 branded fusion, and that's it. And I want to show the non-engine and why I decided to go with that non-engine and why I think it's kind of the correct call. So for the Chimera package, I played 3 Mirror Sword, 3 Quaddle, 3 Gazelle, 2 Berfomet, and then 2 Chimera Fusion. So the only weird thing here is 2 Chimera Fusion maybe. A lot of the lists play 3. I think 2 is all you need. I never missed a third one. It's always recyclable. I never really wished I had 2 in my hand because I think just 2 in your hand kind of clogs, and I would rather see non-engine in that slot. Like having a second Chimera Fusion going first is kind of useless because it doesn't change your going first board, and then having a second one going second, I would rather have a non-engine card there to kind of break a board rather than having the second Chimera Fusion just in case something happens where having a second one would actually solve the problem. But that's rare, if ever. So I think 2 is just fine. Never missed a third one. Then for the other kind of engine is 3 copies of Branded Fusion and 2 Fallen of Albaz. So just the standard branded package. I opted out of playing branded opening for this tournament, and I think that was the correct choice. I did not miss it really, and I'll talk about what I played instead in a little bit. Next, on to the rest of the non-engine. First of all, this is a 42 card list, so there's quite a lot of non-engine to go. So first one is 3 copies of Fenrir. I think Fenrir is one of the best cards in the game, and in this deck especially, being able to have an interruption that doesn't care about you getting ashed later on your Mirror Sword night, or doesn't care about whatever, you can at least end on Fenrir and have something. But in addition to that, being able to search the second copy of Fenrir is awesome for going into Guardian Chimera, because you don't want to burn through all of your Chimera package to go into Guardian Chimera. You want to be able to use the non-engine that's kind of just free to search. So yeah, I think 3 Fenrir was fantastic. And then for the hand traps, so I played 3 Ash, 3 Nib, and 3 Imperm, and that's it for the hand traps. I think these are the best ones. I don't think it's worth playing Valor, Mourner, Droll, any of that stuff in this format. If you look at it matchup by matchup, I don't think those hit enough decks or are impactful enough. Whereas Ash, Nib, and Imperm are just good all around. Nib is the only one that's like kind of questionable into a lot of matchups like Pearly or Lab or whatever, but at least it's a monster, so you can just send it away for Guardian Chimera, so that's really nice. But everything else, this just like hits a lot of things that catches kind of like a broad scope of what we're trying to deal with. So yeah, this is the best hand trap package in my opinion. Then for the rest of the non-engine, I played 3 copies of Book of Eclipse. So I think Book of Eclipse is fantastic, by far better than Book of Moon, and there's another kind of reason in a little bit that I'll talk about why I played Eclipse, but I think Eclipse just deals with more things. It's much better into the mirror because they can't protect it with Quaddle. It's much better into Pearly because if they only have 4 materials under the Noir when they flip Leap, then if you just Book of Eclipse, even if they flip Yeep, then they summon X Pearly Noir and it'll still get booked. So yeah, it kind of plays around Pearly a lot, and I was expecting a lot of Pearly in this tournament, which I did play only a couple times, but yeah, I think Eclipse was much better than Book of Moon. And then it hits a whole Kashtira board. It hits a Rise Heart plus whatever Fenrirs they have, whereas if you only have Book of Moon, it's only going to deal with one problem. And if they have Lance, it totally negates Book of Moon. I don't know. Just Eclipse is much better here. And then for the rest, I have 3 copies of Prosperity. So I decided to go for Prosperity over the branded opening and Aluber package, just because I think Prosperity is just too good not to play. It digs for either your Chimera package, your branded package, or a copy of Crossout to make sure those resolve safely. So if you already if you already have your engine pieces in hand, I would still Prosperity first to dig for a Crossout to play around the Ash. And if you can do that, then resolving the rest of your cards, even if you have a relatively dead Crossout in hand, is going to be just fine. But in addition to that, like, all of the meta decks are playing Prosperity. So if you dig for a Crossout, you can just set it, and you don't have to use it on a hand trap. You can just set the Crossout, and then if your opponent activates Prosperity, you can cross out another Prosperity from your deck. So the reason Crossout is just so good this format is because everyone is playing the same non-engine in their deck. Everyone is playing Ash, everyone is playing Imperm, everyone is playing Books, everyone is playing Pots. Even like a lot of decks are playing Fenrirs across the board. In the mirror, it's incredible. Even just like pure branded, it's incredible. So I think Crossout overperformed this tournament. I think it was the MVP of the deck, and don't think of it just as, protect yourself from Ash. Think of it as protect yourself from the entire board of non-engine that every deck is playing. For the last 3 cards, I'm playing 2 copies of Talent and 1 Called by the Grave. So just like a whole suite of cards to deal with you getting hand trapped. I think these were excellent cards. Do not regret playing any of them. And honestly, the main deck was just fine for me. I don't think I would change a thing about it. I was very happy with everything. Fenrir was incredible. Put so much pressure on the board. On top of all your other stuff, your branded fusion stuff, your Chimera with your Mirror Sword Knight Engraved, just excellent non-engine in this deck. And I think that because it can play all this non-engine, that's why this deck is so strong, because just the actual engine part is so simple. It's so easy to play, it's so easy to resolve, that all you have to do is know where to interact with your opponent with the non-engine, and that will just win you games. So I think that was a big factor of doing well in this tournament, was that this deck is not hard. Like, it's not hard to play. You're not going to be too fatigued after 8 rounds if you have Mirror Sword Knight in hand, you know exactly where you're going to end on. If you have Fenrir, you know exactly what to do with it. If you're playing against the same decks, you know where to hand trap. It's very straightforward, and I think it's very it's a high quality deck. I really like it. So yeah, that was the 42 card main. Nothing really too spicy, but it's just why I think that it's just what the non-engine is I think we should play. Also, I wanted to talk about Book of Eclipse. Another reason I played that over Book of Moon is because Crossout will deal with Book of Eclipse for us. If we go first and we set the Crossout, then if our opponent activates Book of Eclipse, we do have Crossout for it. Whereas if they activate Book of Moon, we have Quaddle for it. So this lets us have it outs to both books at the same time. So yeah, that was another big reason why I picked Eclipse over Book of Moon. Alright, so that was the 42 card main. Let's go into the extra deck. So I'm going to sort this extra deck in a funny way, and then I'll tell you why afterwards. Okay, so for extra deck, I have 2 copies of Chimera King, 2 copies of Guardian Chimera, 1 copy of Chimera the Illusion Beast, 1 copy of Magnum the Reliever, 2 copies of Mirror Jade, 1 copy of Albion, 1 copy of Lubellion, 1 copy of Rinbrum, 1 copy Titaniclad, 1 Albalinatus, 1 Zeus, and 1 Lingaribo. Why did I sort it like this? These are the cards I went into. Out of all 8 rounds, these are the ones I summoned. These I never summoned once in the whole tournament. Yeah, there's just so much flexibility in these extra deck space. Yes, I didn't go into Lingaribo because nobody summoned Ibli against me, and that's fine with me. I'm still willing to play it. I did send Albalinatus once for Mirror Jade effect, but I never made Titaniclad, never made Lubalion, never made a second Mirror Jade, never made Magnum, never made Chimera the Illusion Beast. In the entire tournament, never did. So, I don't know why. Like, I'm perfectly willing to continue playing these, I think these cards, but Magnum and the second Mirror Jade are questionable to me. I don't know if we need to play those at all, and I'm willing to check out other options. Maybe a Dragostapelio would be good. But of course, when next set comes out, we're going to have new extra deck support for this deck. So, yeah. But honestly, this is all you need in the top row. Zeus came up once, and it won me a game against Pearly. I was able to talents take one of the Xyz, crash it into something, or not crash, but swing into something, and then make a big Zeus. So that was really nice. But everything else was kind of, it's a pretty standard extra deck, to be honest. So yeah, not too worried about that. All right, and lastly, the side deck. So the side deck is where there might be a little bit of spice. And we're going to start off with the spice itself. 3 copies of Alpha. I'll just go through the whole thing and then I'll talk about it. 2 Magnemite, 2 Druisworm, 2 Cosmic, 3 D-Barrier, and 3 evenly matched. Okay, so I had very specific ideas in mind when building this side deck. First of all, I wanted 12 going second cards and only 3 going first. And those were the 3D barrier. I thought 3D barrier would be the best for this regional. I expected a lot of Pearly. I expected actually a lot of the mirror match, which I saw none of. But yeah, I thought this would be the best card. It was between this and Anti-Spell, but I was afraid of everyone siding evenly against me, so I thought D-Barrier would be better than Anti-Spell. And for all of the going second cards, I chose all of these going second cards with the thought that if I was going second, everyone would be siding either D-Barrier against me or Anti-Spell. So I wanted to side 0 cards in that lost to either of those. So I wanted Big Body to get over, or to get through interruptions, even through Anti-Spell, even through D-Barrier. I wanted to be able to live to the next turn. The Bestials, same deal. They're just nice interruptions. Their bodies, they put pressure on board through Anti-Spell and through D-Barrier. Evenly matched, of course, deals with it, and then Cosmic can out the whatever problem cards or the Anti-Spell straight up. So yeah, none of these cards lose to D-Barrier or Anti-Spell, and it worked out well. I did not actually get hit by a D-Barrier or an Anti-Spell yesterday, so that was very useful. But yeah, I was very happy with this side deck. Let me talk about the Alpha a little bit. So the Alpha, I had a lot of things in mind for. First of all, if I were to play Unchained, I could summon the Alpha and just swing over the DDD link and then be able to, DDD Xyz, and then be able to keep playing. So that was one idea. It's an out to a lot of non-targetable stuff like Borderland Dragon, so that's nice. It can crash with an Arise Heart. It can crash with Lady Labyrinth if that's a problem for me to get through. I think it just covers so many difficult cards. Plus, it's a beast, so you can of course use it with Chimera Fusion to go into whatever if it's kind of dead in your hand. So overall, I only summoned it once the whole tournament. I did side it in, I think 3 or 4 games, but I only saw it and summoned it once, and that was against a Rika deck. So that was really nice. I cleared the board with evenly matched, and he left like a teardrop on board, so I summoned the Alpha and forced the teardrop, and then I was able to continue with fusion plays. But that was all that really came up. But I do not regret playing this, and I think I would play this again going forward, even if I don't, or even if I'm not sure how much it'll come up. I think it's still a very valuable piece of the side deck. So yeah, that was the 15 card side. Now let me talk through my matchups a little bit. So I actually wrote them down. Round 1, I played against Pearly. Let me see here. I played against Pearly. I won the dice roll, and I won 2-0. Book of Eclipse just came in clutch that game. That's all I remember. Round 2, I played against Infernoble. I won the dice roll, and then I won 2-1 in that matchup. I don't remember anything particular. I just know it was a good game. I went first. I won game 1. Game 2, he went first and set 1 card and passed. And then I made a board, and then he flipped Book of Eclipse on me. That was his one card, and then I wasn't able to reset the Chimera Fusion, so I had 0 interruptions on board, and then he was just able to OTK me through that. So that was unfortunate. Round 3 was against Pearly. I lost the dice roll, but I won 2-0, so this was a huge grind. Game 1 took, I think, about 35 minutes or so, but this was the one where I was able to burn through all of his Ex-Pearly Noir spins, and then he also had a big plump on board with 5 materials, and I was able to actually talents, take the plump, swing it over the Noir, and then overlay Zeus, and then he had one more cat index, so once he summoned that use effect, I was able to Zeus it away, so that was easy. Manadium, I won the dice roll, and then I won 2-1. So this one was like one of the highlights of my tournament, I think, because going in game 3, I went first. I made a board, and then I had a set Chimera Fusion, Crossout Designator, and Book of Eclipse. And we go into main phase, and he activates Harpy's Feather Duster. So I'm forced to burn the Chimera Fusion to, I forget what I made. I made something useful, and then I, why not, flipped the Crossout Designator and called a card that I thought was the only thing that he might have, which was Triple Tactics Talent. So I called Talent. He couldn't break through the board, and revealed the last card in hand was Talent after he scooped. So 500 IQ, I'll take that all day. Let's see, round 5 was against Rika. I lost a dice roll, but I won 2-1. Yeah, I lost game 1, and then game 2, I went first, and I sided in 1 copy of Evenly Matched for Crossout Designator, and lo and behold, that came up. I had a set crossout, and I was able to cross out the Evenly to save the game. And then I won game 3 somehow. I don't remember. Game 6, I played against Tearlament. I lost the dice roll, but I won 2-0. Game 1, he just milled nothing. Unfortunate, but game 2, I opened kind of the stones going second hand. I had Magnamut, Nibiru, plus Engine. So that was a kind of a blowout, but I just had a god hand. So what can you do? Round 7, I played against Dragon Link. I lost the dice roll, but I won the game 2-0. Nothing notable happened. And then round 8 was against Rickason Avalon. I lost the dice roll as well, and I won 2-0. So yeah, those are my matchups. I did not play against any Cash, did not play against any Unchained, so take that for what you will. But yeah, it was just a success overall, and I'm really happy with that. And going forward, I don't think I would change anything about the deck immediately. Kind of have to see how the meta shapes up, see how good the books are going forward, if with Arise Heart being gone, see if Bestials are still residing, with Dragon Link falling off a little bit, and so forth. But anyways, yep, that's the deck profile. That was the tournament report. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, if you kind of agree with this list or if you think anything could be changed. And then really quick before we go, I'm going to show off some of the things I picked up on the floor last night, because yeah, I'm trying to build some new decks, and I just want to show off the new stuff. So I did pick up almost a whole Runic core, so I'm excited to try Runic Chimera. I don't know how good it is, never tried it. It seems kind of suspicious, but gonna give it a go. So yeah, almost all of the Runic cards. I picked up the rest of the Gold Pride cards I needed. Basically, I think I need 2 more, so I do want to try Punk Gold Pride as well. And then the last highlight card is 1 copy of Ultimate Slayer in Starlight Rare. So pretty happy about this. I think it's going to be a pretty good card with Arise Heart out of the format. And because of all the extra deck space in this deck, I think Ultimate Slayer could see space in the side deck at least. So I think that's a really cool opportunity. So yeah, that's about all I have. We'll catch you guys later. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next one.